Hello, it's good to have you back on Global Morning. I'm still here, and it's a beautiful Saturday. I like when it's Saturday because it's supposed to be a day to relax. If you have the time, please take your time and relax. I am Anita Patrick, and today, amazingly, I have a different winger who is set to run the program with me today. Is not Mukhtar Kasim, but I have my delectable, I like to call him that part, brother in the house in person of Ubong. Ubong, it's good to have you on Global Morning.
Thank you so much, Anita. It's wonderful to be here on the program. Thank you.
All right, amazing. He's beginning to sound like he's going to be my guest, but apparently you are co-hosting. Don't forget that.
Absolutely. Okay, so people, amazing morning to you. It's a Saturday morning, a beautiful Saturday morning, and we're here to keep you company from now to 11 a.m. this morning. Lots of amazing package lined up for you.
All right, amazing packages lined up for you today because don't forget that the newspaper review segment is a very first package we'll bring to you, and they will bring you papers of major stories making the headlines on the front covers of papers, a lot of explanations and issues on the front burner, and then we'll bring you our discussion segments where we'll talk about a very dear issue to our hearts because there's a whole lot was that.
Absolutely, a lot of things to talk about. The budget was 2026 appropriation bill was laid before the Joint Committee of the National Assembly. That's also something to talk about, and also sports, right? You are a sports person, so we also talk about sports.
All right, we'll talk about sports. So it's a time we need to stay glued to your screen. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this time out, and then we'll take our newspaper review segment. Please stay with us.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
It's good to have you back on Global Morning Weekend. Let's quickly dive into our newspaper review segment. We have lots of papers. Let's give it a breakdown. We have the Saturday Punch. We have the Saturday Independent papers. We have This Day newspaper, the Vanguard, the Nation, Saturday Sun, and the Guardian. Also, the Weekend Trust is also part of it. Saturday Telegraph, and all of that is what we'll bring to you. But let's quickly start with the first paper in front of us here, which is the Punch newspaper. The Punch newspaper has its very first story leading boldly, and there is one story that is one of concern. But let's give it to you. U.S. visa panic disrupts 30 December. And then there's a writer that says, travelers, students cancel trips to Nigeria. Fear of detention, visa revocation heightens. And that story is on page 4 and 8 of Saturday Punch. Ubong.
Right, amazing. Another story there says, we will show terrorists sponsors no mercy. That's coming from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. As this budget, the 2026 budget carries 5.41 trillion naira for defense and security. That story is on page 4 and 8 of the Punch newspaper Saturday edition.
Well, we'll see that story, but let's quickly talk a bit about the U.S. visa panic disrupts, then we'll get back to the budget thing. There's a whole lot of concern. It's actually December period where people need to build their loved ones, but this particular visa ban panic coming from the U.S. Has shown a lot of concern for Nigerians who would have really loved to come back home to spend their festive period or the Yuletide season with their family. So how would this be resolved? Because they're looking at, if we come in, how do we get back to our lives after the festive period?
All right, so the US have different visa categories, and they have what they put for some countries that they feel have a tendency of bringing maybe terrorism, violence into their country. And Nigeria sadly has been designated in that category with Rwanda, with Saudi Arabia, with Iran and a few other countries, right? So Afghanistan, it is not good for our image, and some family, like you said, especially for those who may not have the money to buy the B2 and go for the lesser visa categories, they don't want to risk it. Those who don't have the green cards yet don't want to risk it. So it's sad that some family members may not be able to come home. And we know that during festive period, a lot of the monies that people use at home are brought in from outside. Exactly,
and that also helps with our IGL as a country. And then look at the fact that one of the major concerns that is actually leading to this, which has made Nigeria one of the figures or nation which is actually labeled by the US, is the issue which is also projected with the budget, which is also part of what the president has said that will show terrorists no mercy, the sponsors of it, because it is the sponsors, which is the like I always like to use the sports grassroots, which is a major foundation of dealing with the issue of insecurity in Nigeria, which has made us to stand at this point of time, seeing that we are now labeled a country of particular concern by the US. Well, we hope that at some point, hoping from next year, where we get into the new year, that all of this will be looked into and things will be resolved. But let's quickly move away from that story and tell you other stories making the rounds there. We see where it says, guidance of the dead, harsh realities of Lagos cemetery workers. Well, that's on that story there where we need to really pay attention to. So that story is on page 20 and 21 there.
All right, so another story says UK extends Nigeria officer visas to avert prison collapse. Is on page 7. Get to understand what is happening with Nigerian officer visas in the UK.
Okay, well, there's another story there that says my wife bled for 15 hours without help, and after childbirth. That's bereaved husband John speaking there. And then there's another that says pepper soup consumption affected patient. That's coming from the hospital in response to that particular story there. And that story is on page 2 of the Saturday Punch.
All right, there's a story that says arrest doctor who removed my 2 kidneys. Ekiti teacher. That's
this is actually talking about the issue of hospital. There's a lot of concerns coming from the hospital there, where one will say on the other hand where the wife bled to death without help after childbirth. Here you're having another one saying arrest the doctor because of for removing my 2 kidneys. There's a lot of investigation that needs to go around the stories to find out what really went on, because the hospital from the other side of the husband who said the wife bled to death is in pepper soup consumption affected the patient. So which side of the story are we going to believe? Because it's a two-sided thing. But this side of this of the kidney is just the accusation coming there without any response.
Yes, but there's been a lot of concerns over organ harvesting now.
True.
They have even seen the other time yesterday I saw a post, somebody was accusing the Nigerian police, and it's there on social media, so you could check and see. It's not like I'm making this up, right? So we keep seeing this because it's a big market now. People get kidneys to sell in the black market, and we have to be able to stop this organ harvesting practice. If there's a doctor, a medical doctor is involved, he should be prosecuted. But these are allegations at this time.
Anyway, like you said, that the allegation. I remember recently, just I think this week or I think a week or thereabouts, where we had our correspondents from Owerri talking about the same thing, where they are looking for the now of a proposed cemetery. I think it's a morgue, yes, where it's noticed to be a place where we have that same story to harvest and then have a lot mutilated bodies being kept there, as supposed to be a morgue for people. So a lot of concerns are being raised. These are the issues in the front burner where security experts need to also do their investigation and find out how real are the stories in terms of organ harvest going around. But let's move away from that story and give you other stories, which are also making. We have my father's death turned me to Lagos hawker. That's Akwa Ibom governor there speaking.
All right, another story says 25 stars who dominated 2025, and I can see is a picture, some pictures. Yes, Davido is there, Burna Boy, Ashake, and I can see the man who opened his university and called it Gege University of Wisdom and Understanding. I went for classes, but I didn't really stay in the university.
Okay, we'll try for it to finish off. Well, that's it on the front page cover of Saturday Punch. There, let's quickly move away to our other paper that says that's the Saturday Independent newspaper. There, it has several captions and a breakdown of its own headline there. But let's quickly give you this. It says Senate under siege, a year of crisis, accountability, battles, and governance tests. That story is on page 8 there, and there you have the picture of the president and the president of the Senate there.
All right, another story says FEC approves 58.47 trillion 2026 budget proposals. And the writer says Tinubu declares armed non-state actors as terrorists. Budget of consolidated renewed sufferings, says PDP. I've seen this press statement by the PDP. It's on page 20 of the Independent newspaper Saturday edition.
All right, obviously you should see that because that's one area you have your strengths and we can do around that. But let's hope that all of this, we'll find out more on that particular paper, going to the page to pick up on page 20. But let's move above the masthead there. We have the story that says state governors must comply with local government's autonomy henceforth. That's President Tinubu speaking there. And the writer says, we vow to win terrorists, state police sacrosanct. That story is on page 22 of Saturday Independent.
Sleaze allegations. Farouk will not escape prosecution due to caliber of whistleblower or Corey. The story is on page 5 of the Independent newspaper.
Wow. There's a whole lot of stories like we said earlier. But let's move away from that and tell you other stories. We have a story that says mother sells 2-month-old baby for 1.5 million. So the writer that says woman, 2 suspected buyers in police custody.
Okay, from Sokoto to the world, while Rajatu Ibrahim transitioned from classroom to creator economy. Page 9.
Okay, well, we'll see that the creative economy, even the creativity sector is having a lot of money coming in from that aspect, where we have a lot of people moving or doubling their hustle, if you put it that way, to have money coming to them. But let's move away from that and tell you what's happening with the National Youth Service Corps. NYSC releases 400 graduates into labor market.
I think it's 400,000.
400,000 actually.
A lot of graduates who
We have a lot
of jobs.
No, that's the question. Where are the jobs? Because this is the challenge we have as a nation. We have a lot of people thrown into the labor market, and then they get frustrated at some point when they don't see a job. That's the reason why I always speak to young graduates when you're in school or you have an opportunity to get into a creative act or a craft where you can get to build yourself. A lot of people are doing well today without a certificate. I'm not saying don't go to school. I'm saying the school is an avenue for you to relate, mingle, get good relationship, and get something out of yourself that can speak as a backup plan just in case the corporate job doesn't come forward.
Right, I totally believe that, because this is quite a lot. How many jobs do we create in a year? And we already have 400,000 coming in, right? So it brings a lot of enormous pressure on our economy. But let's move to another newspaper now, and we will be looking at the This Day newspaper. This Day newspaper, lead story says, in major diplomatic reset, Senate confirms 64 ambassadors. Okis Yakubu, Fani Kayode, Dambazo, Ibas, and Omokri. Subject Tinubu's oil regulators, Mohamed Eyesan, to rigorous screening. Nominees promise digitalization, gas discipline, investor confidence. Oh, I think that's another story. But Senate okays 64 ambassadorial nominees and confirms them. So we are now waiting for the countries that will be posted to. Congratulations.
Finally. Well, are you saying congratulations to me or to Nigeria?
No, to Nigeria.
And to the
2 years coming, 2 years, 5 months coming.
Okay.
Oh, we didn't have ambassadors.
Let's leave that conversation. But anyway, we say congratulations to the nominees who are now given that, who are seen as ambassadors, hoping to wait for the countries to be deployed to. But that's the story there. Let's move away from that and go above the masthead. There we have Boni investors disrupts raises questions over investor protection in Zambia. That story is there for you to pick up a copy and find out what's happening on page 38 of this day newspaper.
All right, so there's a picture story that shows the NSA, that's the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, and the Nigeria Governors Forum Chairman, also the Governor of Kwara State, Abdurrahman Abdurazak, after a meeting at the NSA's office, strategic partnership on security.
I'm just hoping that all the strategic meetings will get into results, or we have the results to bring Nigerians to feel that Nigeria is still the safe haven they know, and they can still move around their businesses to follow up with things. But let's look at other stories. It says petroleum marketers back in country refining. We also have oppose unbridled fuel importation. That story is on page 41, just a bit above the masthead there.
All right, so another story says APC Caucus meeting. Tinubu assures Nigerians state police will become reality.
That story is there for you to pick up a copy on page 38 and find out how visible and how realistic are these promises by the APC caucus there. Okay, so let's move away from that paper because that's what we have from this day newspaper and tell you what's happening with the Vanguard. Saturday Vanguard paper has its own story, still talking on the issue of insecurity as one concern, and Nigeria is saying they're set to tackle it and bring security as they said. But let's give you basically, it says security is Tinubu's priority in 58.18 trillion naira 2026 budget. And let's look at the breakdown. There has a priority list where it gave us beside that particular guide. It says priorities: security 5.41 trillion naira, infrastructure 3.56 trillion naira. We have education 3.52 trillion naira and health 2.48 naira there, speaking about the budget breakdown of what the president is looking at. And that story is on page 10. You need to pick up a copy and find out what the details is.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's also a story about former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. He says 6 presidential runs, 1 unresolved ambition. From Abiola's shadow to ADC's uncertainty. Talking about Atiku, the story is on page 15 of the Vanguard newspaper. Okay,
well, we have it there. We also have a story that says health scientists discover why cancer often bounces back.
Amazing. That's amazing. All right. Eyes on Enugu as Mba deploys drones data to fight invisible crime. Page 20 of the newspaper.
Also, we have Tinubu goes hard on governors over local government autonomy, threatens direct FAC deductions. That story is on page 6 there.
Okay, woman sells 2-month-old baby for 1.5 million naira in Delta.
Well, that story is actually a sad one from my end because I wonder what really is, what was she thinking to her child? No matter what you're going through, you brought this child.
I don't want to know. I don't even know what she's thinking.
All right, so let's see. Above the mass, we have Senator Peter Mwabushi is dead. Governor Weri mourns, and that story is on page 6.
Okay, Chile experiments as Nations Cup begins tomorrow. Davido headlines kickoff concert is on page 22.
Okay, well, everybody's eyes attention in terms of the world of sports was seeing what it's going to look like, especially for Nigerian Super Eagles, to see what they turn out to be for them. We'll wish them all the best as the AFCON tournament commences.
Okay, so the Nation newspaper. Okay, so we do the Nation newspaper
Yes.
now. The lead story says defense security top priority in a 58.18 trillion 2026 budget.
Well, a lot of talks there about the issue around the budget, but we'll deal on that in depth. But let's give you the breakdown there.
All right, so giving the breakdown of some of the things about the road, it says President vows to cut waste, manage debts with discipline. 6 extension of 2025 budget implementation to March 2026. Experts say budgets provide clear economic direction.
Well, pick up a copy of the paper. You see the breakdown, the highlights there, and there you have the picture of the president presenting the appropriation bill, 2026 appropriation bill, to the joint session of the National Assembly there.
All right. Okay. Tinubu threatens executive order FAC deductions if governors withhold local government funds.
Well, it says the writer says Shettima to opposition. Tinubu has no rival for 2027 poll, and the other one says my joining APC is in Plateau's interest. Mufang speaking. That's the governor there speaking boldly there.
Okay. Catholic bishops and Nigerians. Evil will not prevail.
Amazing. Let's see how that pans out. We hope that we're a religious nation. That's why I like to look at it. So we hope that our prayers gets this out with the right actions put in place. But let's grab up the masthead there. It says INEC to PDP factions, put your house in order. With the writer that says we are waiting for court's verdict, says Tureki-led National Working Committee there. And that story is on page 6.
Okay, Nigerian Air Force C-30 aircraft released from Burkina Faso lands in Ghana, continues mission to Portugal.
Okay, finally they get to land, because I know that story came out and there was a lot of issues around that. But hopefully we'll have good news. So
yeah,
it's a good
news.
one.
They were released. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Tuga, Wednesday spoke with them, and the Nigerian crew said they didn't want to do anything in Burkina Faso, going to Portugal, but they had engine failure and they had to land.
Okay, so that's what the Nation newspaper. Let's quickly turn our focus to look at that. What the Saturday Sun has for us. Saturday Sun has its own story there, and it talks boldly with the headline there. Says Tinubu declares bandits, militias, cultists, robbers, terrorists. Well, that story, he's carrying everybody. He doesn't want to even take chances at all.
Yes, the president is very serious about this, once and for all.
Let's deal with these issues and get it out of the way. But let's look at the rider that says there gives his own rider with its key points.
It says, as federal government proposes 58.18 trillion budget for 2026, debt servicing gulps 15.52 trillion, defense and security 5.41 trillion, infrastructure 3.58 trillion, education 3.52 trillion, health 2.48 trillion. Tinubu threatens to enforce executive order on local government autonomy ruling.
Well, that's also one story. There's a wash all across our papers today where the president is giving his order there on the local government autonomy ruling. But let's look at what's happening with the season, the Yuletide season, and there's a whole lot of preparations, a lot of excitement for the Yuletide. Well, transport fares saw as travelers groan. Trust me, it's high time to groan, because it is not funny at all for travelers who want to spend time with their loved ones. Like I always tell people, if you don't have a reason to travel, please stay behind.
Absolutely. Because
thank God for technology. You can do the video calls and just keep the love going.
Right, absolutely. Because if you are using a bus to Lagos now, it takes almost 50,000 naira to 60,000 naira. Right, so it's not, you're not even flying. I remember when I used to fly Lagos to Akwa Ibom Uyo for 35,000, 30,000, 40,000, and now so you just talk about the economy. The salaries have not increased, but the prices of goods and commodity and a lot has increased. So it's quite a lot.
You want to compare 35,000 naira with 200-something thousand or 300,000 or 400,000 for airfare? That's something that is a challenge today, and it's high time we make the travels easy, whether by land, by road, whatever. That's one of the reasons the president is looking at the issue of insecurity. Because if the roads were safe, I know people, some like me, I love the road trip. It's a fun trip for me. I love to have fun and be able to stop over, see new things, get new things. But that's a concern now, and hopefully that gets out of the way into 2026. But let's also look at the breakdown there where it says food prices stable, markets, malls, and we have also booms. That's the malls is getting booming because I have a lot of activities going down in the malls. Yet traders lament low patronage, and there you have it says Nigerians have lost joy of Christmas with the cost of things there. Well, hopefully that gets to come back on as well. But for some people, this is actually the concerns because it's a two-way thing. The ordinary man is looking at, can I meet up with the basic needs with the cost of things?
And some people are paying 5 billion for secondary school students' school fees.
Please, let's do that conversation and just move on.
All right, so another story says, Gelling Nnamdi Kanu won't stop Igbo agitation. Igwe Mabalu, that's coming from that particular person.
Okay, that story has its own writer there where it's speaking very tough. That Igwe Mbamalu spoke daily that's about that. But let's say advocates state pardon for IPOP leader. That's also there. Those opposing state police probably benefiting from insecurity. Hence the reason the president is saying the sponsors will be brought to book, that he's not joking about it, and we look forward to seeing how that narrative can actually play in the positive light for Nigerians. But let's move away from that. We have Rhythm Unplugged shakes Lagos with flavor. Asake, Davido from tomorrow. The Christmas season is actually speaking up too.
Yeah,
and that's on the entertainment side, and that story is on page 25.
Absolutely, a lot to go about celebrating. If you have your friends and family, you could gather, and there's a lot of homecoming shows this time around in Lagos, in Abuja, and in places of concern.
Okay, so let's quickly move away and tell you other stories because the Saturday Sun is done. Take our last paper for the day, which is the Guardian newspaper.
All right, so the Guardian newspaper, the lead story says 13 days to expiration, Tinubu seeks to cut 2025 budget by over 6 trillion, presents 58.18 trillion 2026 budget estimates. The story is on page 2 of the Guardian newspaper.
Well, that story shows awash across all papers where we have the issues around the budget and what's happening there. But let's quickly take a few stories where we can take where it says above the masthead, why new refineries alone won't end Africa's fuel importation slavery. That story is on the left-hand corner there of above the masthead there, where it gives that. Then we talked a bit about sports. There we have the Africa heavyweights showcase talents as 35th Cup of Nations begins in Morocco tomorrow. There's a whole lot of expectations, anxiety playing out there, but let's hope that Super Eagles, if I call them the Falcons have done as well in the 10th edition. Well, let's see what's happening with the Super Eagles ahead of there in Morocco. And quickly, we'll take the other stories below there. It says, let's give you Lagos, First Bank, Swedish government, orders lead 9th Afrima sponsorship lineup. That story is above there. And then also have below there, we have clergy urges citizens to avoid negative rhetoric about Nigeria if we want to have one nation standing.
Right, so amazing. Other story says INEC intervenes in PDP crisis, hold talks with Wike Makinde-backed factions. Another story says Philip Asidu blast from the year's Lucas 8 civil service is on page 3 of the newspaper. Okay, so we also have where it says capital punishment, not solution to kidnapping, banditry, former UN envoy insists. That story is on page 3 of that. And that's it. Let's quickly tell you that's the much we can take from the Guardian newspaper. And that brings us to the wrap up of the segments of newspaper review segment, where we had to give you all the major stories that made the headlines of the front covers of the papers. And interestingly, there's a whole lot to talk about. Absolutely. Always a whole lot to talk about. Conversations keep happening. This is Nigeria and news every day. All right. So, but I had on the soft news. I just had to throw that in. But that's it. Let's quickly go on this break. And when we come back, that particular discussion segment you don't want to miss is up next. Please stay with us.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
It's good to have you back. Welcome back to Global Morning Weekend. We move our focus now to our discussion segment where we break down the issues shaping Nigeria's future. Today we focus on an issue that affects every Nigerian, the 2026 federal budget. That's the appropriation bill that was presented by to the joint session of the National Assembly by President Bola Tinubu.
Right, so President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has presented a budget proposal to the National Assembly. All right, so Nigeria's largest budget to date is a budget dated 58.47 trillion naira. A lot of money that and he's been able to explain this is where this money will go, this is where this money will go. Tackling rising insecurity, investment, mounting pressure, a lot in our fragile economy.
Well, beyond the big numbers, the real question is how this budget balances security, development, and economic stability. Well, let's quickly get this on in terms of the light of it.
Right, so the 2026 budget reflects tough choices for Nigeria in a country that is usually now being constrained by fiscal environment. Out of the 58.47 trillion total expenditure, security alone in that particular budget takes 5.41 trillion naira. That's massive investment in, and that's like one of the largest that we've had in recent times. And also debt servicing takes about 15%, salaries and all of that. All right, so that's what we want to talk about this morning.
Well, all of this significant, this consumes a significant share of government revenue, limiting the funds available for the development and social services. Well, this morning we're examining the implications of those choices for Nigeria's economy and its people. Well, it's talking to us this morning, or joining us rather on the program, is Jonathan Essien, a journalist and a political affairs analyst. Jonathan, it's good to have you join us on Global Morning. How are you doing?
Yes, good morning. It's good to be here once again.
Amazing, Jonathan. Well, let's quickly look at this focus. A whole lot of issues around the appropriation bill that was presented by the president of Nigeria to the joint session. We had that 58.47 trillion naira budget was presented.
All right, so the figure on the headline says 58.47 trillion naira. I'd like to get to you. What are your immediate thoughts when you saw the amount of money put in into estimates for 2026?
Well, first of all, we have to commend President Bola Tinubu for at least trying to ensure that the 2026 budget was being presented at least this year. The consistency has always been there. That is the first thing we need to commend the president for, and also his ability to break down the amount, what sector is receiving, the amount each sector is receiving. I mean, it's also commendable from Mr. President. It's something that we also need to praise him, for. Coming down to the overall budget being presented by him, we've seen the figure being questionably high. It's quite high, and most Nigerians have been asking how is it going to be financed at the end of the day. But if you look at the budget, just as he said, that the budget that he has presented is a budget that is going to work for Nigerians. It's going to be something that is going to give Nigerians the dividend that he has wanted. And most interestingly, he pointed out areas like agriculture. Also looking at security. Those were the two major areas that he really highlighted in his budget. Tagging the budget a budget of consolidation, renewed resilience, and shared prosperity. I believe he has promises meant for Nigerians, and he has hopes that he believes that by 2026 is going to be actualized. So overall, the budget is quite high, and I believe he knows what is meant for Nigeria come 2026.
All right, amazing, Jonathan. I like the fact that you've been able to bring out what his thoughts and what he thinks the consolidation should be for Nigerians. But is this budget more about driving economic growth or largely about meeting unavoidable obligations like the security spending, the debt servicing, and wages for Nigerians?
Sorry, come again. I didn't get you.
So basically, I'm saying, I like the fact that you've seen where the president is looking at all of this. Is this budget more about driving economic growth or largely about meeting unavoidable obligations like security spending, debt servicing, and wages?
Okay. Although I'm still trying to study the budget itself, each and with what we had previous years, but based on what he said yesterday, he made mention of the Bank of Agriculture, coming in, to help revive the agricultural sector, and he said that it's going to drive income, it's going to stabilize food prices, and also it's going to strengthen agro-industrial growth when that comes in. So the economy is going to be driven, and he also made mention of he called on made in Nigerian good. He said he called on the government, even called on, I think he called on the Senate, if I'm right, to ensure that made in Nigerian good is being adopted, is being done, is being exported, is being used by Nigerians, and that is one where the economy is going to be driven.
Okay.
And looking at if the budget is going to be driven through debt, that's what you asked. If we're going to, we need to borrow to service the budget. That's what you asked.
Yes, the debt servicing.
I think that's where I'm going to also look at the tax regime that the president has also come up with. I think probably because I think in one of his presentations earlier this year, he talked about the budget itself, having to help to reduce the debt that Nigeria is owing. So I think probably the tax now that the tax is going to come in full force, I believe that is where most of the fees or more is going to finance the budget. But apart from that, we should not be surprised if Nigeria at the end of the day gets to borrow, to finance this. We should not also be surprised. He has not yet mentioned how it's going to be financed, if it's going to be borrowed or if it's going to be through tax. But looking at the handwritings on the wall, for me personally, I think it's going to be through the tax regime that is coming in, because if you look at everything being let down, I believe that is another way Nigeria will get to generate revenue for the country through tax.
All right.
So let's talk security now. We see that security plays a major role in this particular budget. Allocations to security is the highest. Security is standing at 5.41 trillion naira. That's defense and security. But we've spent heavily on security in this sector in the last, let's say, 12 years. All right, and we've not really seen proportional improvement in security outcomes. I'd like to hear from you.
Well, I think that was where the Committee on Security Matters and the Senate, I think they called for a probe, the past administration, to see how it has been financed, because the military, just like the current minister of the current
Minister of Defense.
The budget being assigned to Nigeria is not even able to cover security itself. And I think before then, the Senate said they want to probe, they wanted to know exactly what the finances have been used for and the rest. So I think over the years it has not really been able to meet the estimation or the expectations of Nigeria. We see a lot of funds being chunked into security, and at the same time the security system is not really has not witnessed any significant growth. So now once again this year, I think Nigerians now, they're getting to understand a lot of things. The questions are there. We are going to ask. We don't get to see anything happening. 5.41 trillion naira, that is a huge amount of money being thrown into into security alone. And I believe that before the end of 2026, banditry, terrorism and other things is going to at least reduce Nigeria at least by 60% with what we have seen. So let's just hope that with this new figure, with this new amount, just as the president has said that he doesn't want insecurity to continue, at least before the end of next year. So let's believe the president and let's get to see what he's going to do or what's going to happen.
Okay,
before the end of.
So, Jonathan, amazing that we're all hopeful. That is one thing Nigerians are very good at. We like to hope and focus our attention, hoping that if this comes out true. But if you look at the key points where he raised his concern, at what point does sustained defense spending begin to crowd out critical social sectors such as education and health? Because we seem to put in a lot of weight on defense and security, and then over the years, like a lot of probe have been coming into that. At what point will we prioritize the issue of education and health for Nigerians?
Okay, I was even smiling when I saw the figure allocated to education. At least it's even better than last year, 3.52 trillion assigned to education. And for health, receives 2.48, which is still low for me. I was expecting at least, when we talked about security, we talk about education, we talk about health. Security and health, I was thinking it's going to, work at least hand in hand, being the highest when it comes to this year's budget. That was what I was expecting. Okay. Even if it's not going to be the same with security, but at least very close to it. And for education, 3.52, at least it's a little bit better than what we have been seeing in previous years, when education gets to receive, just a piece of a cake, when it comes to the budget. But this year's, I just hope that this new regime it's going to bring a whole lot. And it's still saddening because when we don't pay good attention to education, we get to realize that the nation is not going to move forward. It's not going to with health. We see our ministers, we see our senators, we see politicians, we see great people leaving the country, to get health care outside the country. It gets to show that we don't even have a sustainable health system in the country. So I think that is another way, another angle. If the president is able to tackle insecurity in the country, that should be another angle that he also needs to look at, which is education. Education has not, really been paid attention to. Same thing as health has not really been paid attention to. So I just hope.
Okay, well, in all of this, I see the fact that there's a rise from what you explained, Ross Jonathan. It means that there's a bit better budgetary allocation given to the education sector compared to what we have over time.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes, to education. At least education has, should I say, smiled to the bank this time around. At least there have been an improvement in education a bit.
So my major concern is actually in the area of that health, which, like you mentioned, we've seen lots of people leave the country. Even the practitioners, the professionals also go for better provisions. And we've also had that. We saw this year where the resident doctors also went on a warning strike because of all of these issues. Yeah. And yet we still see what is given to them in terms of the breakdown for the budget allocation given to the health sector to be 2.48 trillion naira. I don't know what led to that particular decision by the government or the president himself, but hopefully that this would actually help the health sector find a way around itself, because this is a lot of concern. Well, the question is this level of investment enough to drive long-term productivity, or are we spreading limited resources too tinily across sectors?
Well, personally, for me, I think Nigeria has a whole lot to tackle, and the president is trying to, to see how we can tackle the problem one after the other. And one is the insecurity issue. And just as I said earlier, I was thinking that security as well as health, it's going to go hand in hand.
Exactly, my thought as well.
When a soldier is injured, you need to take him or her to the hospital to be taken good care of. But if the hospital, if the healthcare is not well maintained, is not improved, then there's going to be a problem. Then you talked about most of the practitioners leaving the country for good packages outside. I mean, it also calls for concerns as well, because the budget, as I've seen, I just hope, I just pray, come next year, although the Minister for Health has already come out and said that the President has been working, but that was before yesterday, that the President has been working to ensure that healthcare is being improved, the doctors are being taken good care of. But I think they need to do more, because when you look at most of some primary healthcare centers that we have in the country, it's nothing to write home about. Some federal hospitals that we have in the country, it's nothing to write home about. Some state-owned, hospitals are even more developed than what we have in the federal center. So I think this year's budget, when it comes to health, as I said, it's something not really commendable, from Mr. President. That is another way we're going to give him a knock right there, because that has not really been improved. Healthcare should be one of the primary concern. Education is supposed to be another primary concern. Security should be another primary concern when it comes to Nigeria as a whole. Those three things should, at least for now, take a very the president should take a good grip on them to see how we could improve, the system. If we have good healthcare system, if we have good education in Nigeria, and we have good security, I think Nigerians will be living happily. Nigerians will be waking up smiling each day. But I just hope come next year, they're not going to be having strikes upon strikes, just like what we had last month. The doctors going on, a warning strike before they had to call it off, and the presidency coming in to see how they can alleviate most of their problems. So I just hope next year the president will be able to sit down and see how the 2027 budget at least will be able, to tackle most especially health and education. And I hope by next year he's able to also fight insecurity that we have in the country.
All right, so we've talked a lot about health and education, but let's look at recurrent expenditure, capital spending. Capital spending stands at 26.0 trillion naira, while recurrent debt, that is debt servicing, at about 15.52 trillion naira. It's quite better than what we had the last time, where we had debt servicing taking over 80% of our revenue. Now it's just about 60%. But let's talk about it. This president says most of this debt wasn't taken in his time, but he's also done a good job not taking debt. So he's also taking a lot, right? Even though a lot of it was not taken in his time. And statistics say that if we are dividing the debt Nigerians owe, every Nigerian, if we are doing 220 million, should be owing about 300,000 naira. But go ahead and talk about debt servicing.
Talking about the debt servicing, I think at least the president, I can't remember, but I know that sometime this year he came out to at least make mention of the debt servicing, the debt profile and everything in Nigeria. And I think there was a particular time, I can't remember the months this year, that he said that the debt Nigeria is owing at least is reducing, and that they cleared a particular debt from I can't come to my mind now, but they cleared a particular debt from a particular organization or so. So I just get to believe, when it comes to the debt servicing, the president, he's a man who has worked in financial institutions, so he understands these things. So I believe he's going to bring, his wealth of experience into it and see how we can reduce. If you look at the budget, just as you presented, just as you said, presented by the president, the debt servicing this year, at least, it didn't consume the budget just as what happened last year. So I believe he already has a whole lot of things put down in place to see how he could reduce the budget. And that was why I was saying that probably maybe, I'm just speculating, the generated revenue that will be coming in from the new tax system is going to help in, reducing that, at least trying to see how we can reduce the debt burden that we already have right here. So I believe if that can be, focused, the debt Nigeria is owing, if that can be reduced, I think it's also going to help, sustain and maintain our own revenue and also try to improve the living conditions of Nigeria.
Amazing there. Well, let's look at this. Historically, capital budgets have suffered from poor implementation. So what should Nigerians realistically expect this time around? Because like I said earlier in our conversation, it's a lot of hope and expectations. So what should Nigerians realistically expect this time around from the budget in terms of implementation?
Well, yeah, in terms of implementation of the capital budget, what Nigerians need to expect, well, for now, it might not be, rosy. We still need to see how we're going to balance the economy. Since the president came in, I know most Nigerians will have been crying due to a whole lot of issues, most especially trying to balance and also to grow the economy. But I think what Nigerians need to expect this time around, at least we just need to give the president the benefit of doubt to see if the system, the economy being projected by the president is going to improve. And I think that was why during his speech yesterday, he encouraged Nigerians to ensure that we adopt the Made in Nigerian good. We try to grow Made in Nigerian goods and also call the Nigerians to see how we can join hands to improve the economy by producing and also sending out more things.
Right.
Okay,
and sending out more things.
Sorry.
Yeah.
All right, so basically, I'm looking at the part of implementation for salaries because that's one salient constraint Nigerians, especially government workers, public servants who have high expectations that, okay, good enough, this is presented, this is what we're looking at, this is what is in the budget. In terms of implementation, will the salaries get better, flowing the economic state of Nigeria? Look at the festive period is here and a lot of people are still struggling. What should Nigerians expect in that areas?
Sorry, your last statement, I think I said.
So I'm saying in terms of implementation, salary is a major concern for Nigerians. The implementation process for wages and salaries, which is a salient constraint.
Okay. The salaries. I
like the fact that you're laughing at that.
Itself.
All right.
Yeah. Hello.
Go ahead, please.
Okay. The salary, another major concern itself when it comes to the workforce for the civil servants in Nigeria. It has always been a problem, but we believe that come next year there's going to be an improvement on that. And just as I said, this year most persons still struggling to see how they can make ends meet. The salary not coming in as we're due, they have to wait and the rest. So I just believe that from next year, a whole lot, there's going to be a wider improvement when it comes to sustaining the workers itself and also giving them a meaningful package back home. And also, it's also going to look at the minimum wage itself. If something could be done about it, if there's going to be an improvement concerning it, because now that we're coming into a new tax regime, I think there also needs to be a review of the packages being given to workers at the end of the month, because there needs to be an improvement so that whatever you are giving back to the government, at least the government is giving you something that is very, very good at the end of the day. So I just hope that from next year, there's all going to be at least there will be a round table where all of this is going to be looked at. Workers need to be taken good care of, they need to be paid on time, and everything needs to be done so that at least there should be improvements in the workforce of the country.
Right. So when you look at the other breakdown, we have that 35 point something trillion it will be utilized by the federal government, and we have about 16 trillion will be utilized by the states. But we see that the local government have about 11 point something trillion to be paid to local government from this particular budget. So it means that local governments have the gap between the 23 states and the 774 local government will just be about 4 trillion naira. What should we be expecting by implementation of projects from local governments if, and as the president said, this time around he's going to put his feet on the ground and make sure that the monies get paid to the local government? Should we be expecting more developmental projects at the local government level?
Absolutely. And day before yesterday, the president specifically, instructed governors. They had a meeting with the APC caucus, and he instructed the governors that it's not just about, the court injunction urging for the local government autonomy for the money to be sent to them. It needs to be implemented. It needs to be given to them. Most of some of these persons have been coming out to say that, okay, the reason why there is no development in a particular place is because this and this is not happening. So I believe now that we have seen the president coming out to give a support on this, lending his voice, we just hope that it's going to be a big change when it comes to to local governments, other parts of the country. There's going to be a bit of development. We're going to see most people do not have lights in some places. People don't have good health care. Most people don't even have good roads, even education, no schools. So we just hope that now that the president has, voiced out all these changes is going to happen. We're going to see a whole lot happening at the end of the year.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jonathan. But let's quickly bring your mindset with what we have here. We're saying, does the 2026 budget offer a credible path towards easing this burden, or are we simply rolling the problem forward? The burden of, what I'm referring to in terms of burden is the repayments, debt repayments, and the worries for salaries, which is the major thing we're looking at. If the 2026 budgets offer a credible path towards easing that particular burden of debt servicing and salaries, or we're simply saying is rolling the problem forward?
Well, for now, I might not really say if it's going to be a burden on Nigerians, because I think the president yesterday was very, very tactful. He was able to explain, the budget specifically. But one thing I'm still waiting, or one thing I'm still trying to figure out is how we're going to finance this. I think that was one of the questions that you asked as we were speaking. So for me, right now, I think the budget is going to help improve the Nigerian system, and he particularly paid attention to things like the agriculture, saying that it's going to boost. And he also said that most of the things that's going to be produced is going to be sent out. So I think it's also going to help to alleviate some of the problems when it comes to internally generated revenue. Nigeria is going to start generating something for itself. So I think for me it's going to be two ways. For now, just as I said, I'm still trying to study the budget itself to understand fully, to get to see. But for now, I think the budget is quite large. It's something commendable from the president, and I think it's something that we just need to get to study well, to understand or look at the gray areas itself. But for now, we just need to commend the president. Most especially the education sector is something I've commended him, at least throwing in his attention on looking into education more is something that we just need to commend him for now. But for other areas, apart from security, I think it's something that he needs to buckle up come next time.
All right, so I'm talking about education, and one of the reasons why we've had that rise in education is because of the NEL fund, right? That's the student loan. Okay, so let's look at some of the benchmark that has benchmarked this budget. It's it's crude oil price. The budget is placed at 60 to 50, 65. That's the range that I saw yesterday, 60 to $65 for a barrel of crude oil. And we are looking at having production of about 1.84 million barrels per day. And the exchange rate is also placed very flexible. Nobody's saying 1,200, nobody's saying 1,000. The president is saying 1,400 to 1,500. Are these very flexible indices? Even though this year we've seen the exchange rate started at 1,700, and by December we are already, yesterday I did business, but we're at 1,420 something, right? So it's been reducing, but the president is trying to be very he's not trying to be optimistic, he's very realistic and say this is where we are. If the crude oil prices get to 80, I will sell it for 90 for a barrel, no problem. We have budget surplus, but this is a reality.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Talking about
the rate of dollar 1,400 benchmark, and crude oil sales 65 to 60.
Yes, I mean there has been an increase in that. There has been an increase, and also we also need to commend the CBN, at least working to ensure that the price drops. And just as I said, I think the dollar price, or the dollar is also going to keep on.
Okay. All right, so if you're looking at that, so let's see, if these assumptions fail, because like Ubong said, you're looking at the reality, it's not just looking at assumptions, because this is the facts of what we have. Okay, go ahead, Jonathan. Let me allow you to land for it. I thought you had made your point.
Okay. So talking about if there's going to be an increase, and it's also going to help to improve the budget itself. I think as the year goes on, we need to produce more, and I think the president himself have said that you want to see how we will need to expand the production of oil by next year, and he has put things in place and the rest. So I think we'll.
Okay, so I think Jonathan will have a bit of network glitches there, but I like the fact that he's been able to drive his points home, looking at the budget. Yes, budget was presented yesterday. Okay, we have him back. Jonathan, please go ahead.
Okay, so I said when that happens, it's going to help to improve, the economy, and also we'll get to see, even the dollar getting to drop more and more. So we just need to wait. I just hope that I believe that 2026 is going to be a better year. The president has already said it's going to be a prosperous year, for all Nigerians. So I'm feeling this sense of joy. I'm feeling this happiness already with what the president has said. But it's just for us to see the actualities, what is going to happen at the end of it.
Okay, I like the fact that we're looking at actualities, but like I said, I was trying to bring this to your notice that if these assumptions assumptions fail, where does the pressure fall? Increased borrowing, higher inflation, or cuts to capital projects? That's one question a lot of people are asking, because these are assumptions, these are projections and all that. So what if this fails? Is it going to look at us in terms of pressure, our pressure falling to increased borrowing or higher inflation or cuts to capital projects?
Yeah, absolutely. If it gets to fail, we need to fall back to to borrowing, which is going to be another. It's going to be very painful. So that's why I'm saying I try to be very, very positive when it comes to things like this. I just hope and I pray, we all need to pray for Nigeria, that what the president has already put in place is going to be, it's going to actualize. Because if it doesn't actualize, then that means they need to fall back to something else. I mean, to other areas. And if you're falling back to your plan B, then it's going to be very, very deadly. So we just hope that what has been put in place, we know that most economy in some countries could not be stable, or most businesses, when you're running a business, sometimes you may have a rise, you may have a fall, but we just need to be positive that what we're going to have next year is going to be a rise. We want to see the Nigerian economy at least, going up and being sustained before or at the end of 2026, so that when we are looking at analyzing the year 2026 is going to be an improved year for all Nigerians. So we don't hope, or we don't want to see a fall when it comes to the Nigeria's economic system next year.
Well, Jonathan, like what we're doing right now is just trying to assess and weigh the options and see where our feet can stand strong. I like the fact that we're hopeful and we're looking at this. Don't forget that the president has laid and presented it to the joint session of the National Assembly. But as the National Assembly debates the budget, how much adjustment should Nigerians expect, particularly around defense spending, capital projects and constituency allocations? Because that's one focus the National Assembly is going to be looking at as they debate this proposed budget appropriation bill brought in by the president.
Hello?
I'm with you. Did you get me?
No, I didn't get your last question.
Okay, so I said we're hopeful as a nation, and I was saying that this projection should stand tall for us. But as the National Assembly debates the budget, how much adjustment should Nigerians expect, particularly around the defense spending, capital projects, and constituency allocations?
Okay, surely there are going to be a debate concerning that, and what you'll be expecting should be probably there might be what is the word now? Is it a rewrite, or we're going to see an adjustment? Yeah, that is the word. An adjustment when it comes to the budget itself. Yeah, so I believe there might be an adjustment when it comes to that, because there's going to be a debate. We're going to look at it. They might look at some areas that needs improvement, from the government, and I think that's going to happen when the Senate, opens to start looking at those areas, the capital budget and other areas. So it's something that we just need to wait and see in the coming days what is going to happen.
All right, so I wanted to ask, I'll ask two questions. One, we've seen that the service sector in this particular projection has also been brought in, the non-oil sector, and we've seen our banking sector do very well. We've seen our fintech do very well all across Africa, and the president was very optimistic. He talked about the service sector as the next place Nigerians must channel their energy to: banking, logistics, and fintech. But I'd like to ask, compared to previous budget, do you think that this budget really genuinely shows ambition?
Absolutely. I believe it genuinely shows ambition, and one of the areas I'll still anchor my point on is the area of agriculture, and he has said that he really wants to look into that, trying to invest more in agriculture, trying to improve agriculture, and he also said that the agricultural system is going to at least double up. He wants food to be on the table of all Nigerians and the rest. So I think that is one area for me that we are going to see a bigger improvement, from the come next year. And I believe he has already put things in place. And he made mention of the Bank of Industry coming in to ensure that all of those things are being, put in place and the rest. So I think the projections and everything, it's pointing on to a good side, but the bigger question is, we just hope, will this thing, actualize? Are we going to see dividend? Is it going to come out? I hope we're not going to see someone trying to smuggle this money that the president is going to, to release, is going to be assigned. So we just hope that at the end of the year, everything that has been planned is going to come out successful.
Okay. Well, Jonathan, the 58.47 trillion naira 2026 budget reflects Nigeria's difficult reality, high security costs, rising debts, and growing development needs.
Ultimately, absolutely, these figures and projections of success will depend on fiscal discipline. There's a word that I want to say: transparency, and effective execution.
Well, thank you so much, Jonathan, for joining us on Global Morning Weekend. It's an amazing time speaking to you on this particular issues.
And thank you so much, people, for staying with us. That's our first discussion for this morning. And when we come back, we have another discussion, still talking about Nigeria.
We're also talking about Nigeria because we love our country. And one Nigeria, one progress. That's my own.
Nigeria, one progress.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. Don't give me that.
Just keep check. The date here, 2027. All right, Jonathan, thank you
so much, Jonathan, for being a part of the program. Amazing conversation there with you. Well, up next is our next discussion segment where we'll look at something you don't want to miss. Please stay with us.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Hello and welcome back to Global Morning Weekend, the second segment of this program. I'm sure you're wondering what's wrong with Anita. Yeah, I'm the sport diva and I want to look sportive as always. Today we turn our attention to Nigeria's biggest football hopes, the Super Eagles and Super Falcons, as both teams gear up for crucial AFCON campaigns. Well,
Absolutely, you really have to go dress down and dress in your sports attire.
Yeah.
All right, so the Super Eagles are chasing continental glory in the 2025 AFCON, while the Super Falcons are aiming for something more historic, an 11th African title, a feat no other women's team in Africa has attained.
Well, it's been amazing because we got the 10th particular title team this year, and Nigerians, everyone was excited for the Super Falcons getting to that particular phase. Well, the question is, can Nigeria deliver on both fronts? That's our focus this morning. We're looking at if that is visible to see where the 11th time will come to Nigeria, or with the Super Eagles, what will happen. But Nigeria remains one of Africa's football powerhouses, but recent tournaments have shown that pedigree alone is not enough. Tactical discipline, player form, and preparations will define successes at the 2025 AFCON. Well, this morning we'll examine all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So this morning we'll look at Nigeria's readiness, strengths, weaknesses, and pressure of expectation on both Nigerian teams.
Well, amazing. You can see right on the screen. Having joined us this morning is Coach Bala Anikiu, former Nasarawa United coach and former head coach of Nigeria's under-17 women's team. Well, who else than to talk more on this amazing conversation we want to have this morning. Coach, it's good to have you join us on Global Morning.
Good morning. It's my pleasure.
Amazing. Well, there's a whole lot happening. We're looking at realities of the AFCON chances for Super Eagles. You are a coach and you understand this better, so you want you to walk us through what your own perception is as a coach ahead of this particular tournament.
Well, it's my pleasure to be here.
Amazing.
And the truth is that you cannot count your eggs before they are hatched. As it is now, Africa is all gathering in Morocco to compete on the AFCON as usual.
Yes.
Nobody among the countries will start telling you that I'm going to win. Winning is, whether we like it or not, is a gift, and a spiritual gift.
Okay.
No matter how you prepare. And you can prepare, of course, yes. If you prepare and you don't have the luck, you only come and participate and go.
Okay.
Yes, so I have the belief that it's going to be a good tournament. Yeah.
Oh, okay, amazing. Well,
Right, so Coach, let's start with the Super Eagles. Nigerians are hopeful, but also very cautious because of what we've seen in the last few years. But based on what you've seen, you've been in the game for quite a long time. Do you think that the Super Eagles of Nigeria are title contenders?
Well, like I've said earlier, if not for the little lapses we are having now, nobody ever hears Nigeria's name and be comfortable.
Okay.
Yes, because in the past they know that we can just walk in, win anybody and get away with it. So no matter what, I still have the belief that if you have an elder brother in the house, there's no how you can change your age. He's still an elder brother.
I like that description of that.
Yes, so definitely I still want to believe that whoever that is coming to play Nigeria will be very conscious because he knows that Nigeria is a name.
That you cannot play with.
Yes.
Because a lot of questions have been asked, a lot of worries, following the trend of issues that prepared us for the World Cup playoffs and all that. A lot of people are saying Nigeria seems to be, the Super Falcons seem to be a work in progress. Super Eagles, rather. Why am I mixing these words? Super Eagles seem to be a work in progress, but you're giving us a different definition about this.
Yeah, I think as a technical man, I won't just sit in my house and tell you that somebody is better than me. It's not possible.
Okay.
Yes. So there's no how. Forget about World Cup of 18.
Okay.
Everything is time.
Okay.
Yeah, there were efforts put in, and God shows maybe it wasn't our luck.
Okay.
So I still have the belief that the AFCON is still at hand.
Okay. Yeah. Well, amazing the AFCON time, but beyond individual talents, what worries you most? Let's look at the defensive coordination, the midfield control, or the tactical consistency. Is that what you're worried about? What area is of concern to you as Nigeria gets into AFCON?
Well, I think left for me, the areas I will look at will be more particular about the teamwork. There's no team that is perfect, and there's no team that is how do I put it, that is very okay without any lapses.
Definitely.
Yeah, without any areas of concern. But I still want to believe that no matter how we see it, I can remember some years back during Keshi, may so rest in peace. There were a lot of noise, to the extent of maybe planning sack Keshi if he doesn't win match.
I remember.
At the end of the day, he brought the trophy back.
Yes, he did. 2013.
So that is it. So it's like we are quick to condemn ourselves, and I don't want to condemn myself.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can always encourage myself. So we need to encourage our boys. If they are determined to do it, whoever that goes into the field, even with one leg, can perform magic.
Coach, that's a whole lot of optimism speaking
Amazing.
there.
So, Coach, many Nigerian fans believe that Nigeria thrives on big names. We have a lot of big named players, but the team is not solid. Names like Victor Boniface, Victor Osimhen, and we saw during the World Cup qualifiers, we waited a lot for Victor Osimhen to come, and when he came, he gave a bit of magic, and we're like, this is what we've been missing. Yeah. Is it good for a team, you've coached Nasarawa United under 17, to rely on big name players?
Well, everybody has his own philosophy as a coach. The issue of big names, whether we like it or not, they are important.
Okay.
The only thing you need to do is maybe, like I said it some weeks back, if we had somebody like Benjamin Frederick, like 2 or 3 in the team that once in a while will be bringing them in. If you look at it, he's a small boy. His son now he's eager to play. He just wants to play. But you cannot rule out the experience.
True.
So whether we like it or not, the big names will still be there.
Okay.
Then we use the smaller ones gradually, and later they will take over.
So that's like a foundation laying.
Yes. And whether we like it or not, they'll wake up one day and become big names too.
Currently.
So
apparently that should be one focus we should look at. That's one reason why I'm always a fan of grassroots sport development. So look at building this raw talent to get the stardom to the spotlight, where they also get the opportunity to be at the big name. But let's look at this, coach. In your view, what must change between now and the kickoff for the Super Eagles to avoid another near miss? What we'll have?
I think if we give anything now, it will be medicine after death.
Okay.
Yes, you are already in the kickoff of the tournament.
Which is
whether we
tomorrow,
like it or whether we like it or not, preparations has been made.
Okay.
So if anybody decides to say no, go and do it this way, you're always saying your own.
Okay.
Yes, but I think they are prepared.
And you're satisfied with the level of preparations they have? Nobody is ever satisfied with what is going to do until you get it. Okay. Any other team in Africa, nobody can say we have a good team. Okay. Yes, nobody. Because a good team can lose a match and a bad team can lose a match. It depends on when you come out on a good day.
even as a bad team. I remember one of my coaches was yabbing his players sometimes. He said, "We are only lucky, God gave us this match, but they played better than us."
Obviously, that's a technical man being realistic and telling his player the fact. So next time he sits up and knows where he needs to stand. So
yes, we are lucky, but God gave us this, but they played better than us. So if anybody will play better than me and still lose, I think I'm okay.
Okay.
Yes.
well, let's look at this. Let's look at. We had the list. I know you're saying that they've done a preparedness, they have all they've done in place. But what are you really looking forward to with the players, the caliber of players we're going to see on the field of play at AFCON, coming from the Nigerian team?
I think recently I've been very impressed with them, with their attitude towards play. They have been very, very serious recently. Very, very serious. They take every match as if it will not... as if they will not play tomorrow.
Including friendly with Egypt?
Friendly and everything. They friendly, as a coach, if I go to play friendly and I want to see a particular person or a particular set of players, I think I won't mind losing the match, but see what I want.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's all about the interest?
It's all about the interest. It's all about how you prepare it. Okay, this one came newly, this one came newly. How do you match them together to get what you want?
Okay.
And if you are a bit okay with this, what of this? You have to see him in a match or whatever.
Right. So coach, there's a lot of glamour for bringing in more home-based players. Some persons have said, I saw the list, that we don't have as much home-based players as 2013, as she mentioned. What is your view about bringing in more home-based players into the team?
Yes, home-based players, whether we like it or not, we still have some good players in the Nigerian league.
Okay.
And whether we like it or not, it is our duty to encourage them, to give them time. If you carry like 4 or 5 home-based players into the team now, by the time they play like 3 or 4 matches, they will rubbish everybody. Because, number one, they have the strength. They have the strength and they see it as an opportunity that they will not want to miss.
Okay.
So they give out all.
All right, because I see a lot of passion, because I'm a very good fan or strong fan of grassroots development, because that is where we need to set the foundation straight and get these players to get to the point. But let's look at this. From your experience from coaching, good enough the National Institute of Sports just did some training for coaches. How do you see that area in terms of Nigerian strength to also help build the capacity of players from the grassroots level, like the league, just like you mentioned, for the home-based players, to come to best that subsequent tournaments, or where we go for AFCONs like this or the World Cup, we're prepared and we can be sure of the caliber of players we're picking from the home front?
Well, the NIS just... some players, some youth coaches just graduated from the NIS.
Yes.
And I think it's a good thing. Good thing in the sense that the basic is a beginner. I like it as they started from there, before you go up and up and up and up. So as you're, the moment you start climbing a ladder, you are going higher.
True.
So I hope that they will continue to be on the ladder until they get to the end.
Okay.
And I know too well that a lot of them are people who played ball to a very reasonable level. So I know that they can make it in the near future. It's all about giving them time, and then it's all about them taking interest to learn more. Yes, because you cannot maybe believe that I've gone to NIS, I'm okay, for the next 10 years you are still one place. You will not go to anywhere, because there are some things, if you see other people doing, you will be arguing that is not the right thing. Meanwhile, you are the one left behind.
Okay. Well, it's good enough that you've also looked at the league play, where you've also coached at the league level at the terms of Nasarawa United. Let's look at their strengths. What do you see in terms of building their capacity and putting them in the front runner in terms of the league, with what we see for international players who always stand at advantage points to represent Nigeria in the spotlight?
Well, personally as a coach, I believe in taking risks. The risks I take is I started the football coaching from the grassroots. From 1991 in FCT.
Okay.
Anybody that has to do it under 13 every time, Coach Bala.
Okay.
Till I grew up under that, from under 13, under 16, and the rest of them. And why I said I like taking risks is, any club I go to, 75% of them are young boys.
Okay.
Very small boys.
Okay.
People that you can just tell him, are you ready? You say yes.
Yeah, okay.
That's all. Then the experienced ones can now be alternating with them.
Okay.
This one will do the work, this one will use his brain.
Amazing.
So most of the times I like taking risks. And it's not risks anyway, it is what is my philosophy. Yes, it's my philosophy as a coach.
So, but how much results has that yielded for you over time?
Of course, I've been getting results. I've been getting results.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, amazing. Well, we've been talking so much about preparedness from grassroots, the league, and also Super Eagles' chances. Looking at the AFCON, which is kicking off tomorrow, and we're hoping that Nigeria, just like the coach has mentioned, he said they've prepared enough. They've done in his own wisdom. He feels they've done it, and we hope that they get a good outing as they set up tomorrow. But let's turn our focus and look at a bit about the women, because our focus is also looking at the women have done it well, and they've gotten the 10th champion title for Africa women leading in football. But let's look at, there's a whole lot of pressure. Because trust me, when somebody does well, there's expectation to keep doing more and keep building on that. So there's a lot of pressure for the Super Falcons for the 11th title. Ubong.
Yeah, absolutely. As we turn to the Super Falcons now, 9 AFCON titles already.
Actually 10, also indicating.
But does history really help or increase pressure on these women? Because we've seen people on social media say the only people that give us joy
is the women.
The women. We've seen with the basketball, Afro basketball team. We've also seen with the Super Falcons. So I like that you talk about what we expect from them.
I like the fact that coach is smiling before he responds, because also had to coach the other 17 women.
Well, on the issue of the Super Falcons, there's nobody that will eat his mother's food today and tell his mother tomorrow that we won't eat your food again.
Okay.
It's not possible. Why I'm saying so is the Super Falcons already have a moral buster.
Okay.
They won the last tournament and they were rewarded. They will not want to say no.
And that's actually true.
Yes. That one is a moral buster. They will want to fight and make sure that no matter what, we should get something again. That is it. That is what I mean by you. Nobody will reject his mother's food. Yes. So I think, as it is now, they are already on a very good spirit. They are focused, and like they used to say, anytime you are playing a match and you begin to lament on the area that you didn't get it right, you will be drawing yourself back. You actually mention where you didn't get it right, but you have to go more on where you got it right, so that you
can build on it.
Yes, you could continue to tell yourself that I can do it. So I think the Super Falcons, I don't think they have any problem.
Okay. Well, Coach, you've worked closely with women's games at the Falcons technically right now, because you said they're in high spirits. And while we're looking at the mental state of their mind, are they ready to defend this particular dominance? Yes, we know that they were rewarded, but mentally, as I started getting the bonus in terms of their trainings, in terms of everything, do you think they're ready to defend the dominance and stay on that particular stage?
Even if they are ready or they are not ready, I know they won't find it easy.
True, because a lot of competition will come.
Yes, but they have to fight it.
Okay.
Yes, they won't find it easy. Everybody will come at if Nigeria, not be them again. But they can still make it, because already they know that the last one they won, they had something.
Yeah, true.
That is number one. And secondly, they won't want to hear that we just want the previous one and we are losing the present one. It won't tell well.
So that's what kind of the mind game.
Yes, it will not make them look like the good champions. No matter what, even if they are going to lose, they should lose maybe in the final. At least they will be able to, everybody will be able to know that yes, you've been.
It was a struggle.
Yes, you've been able to protect what you had earlier.
Right. So, how important is youth integration into the sport, striking the right balance between experience and also bringing in fresh legs? You've played with the girls, and we've seen some of our experienced girls are retiring this year. We've had a couple of them say, hanging up the boots.
Sure.
So how do we bring in fresh legs? What are the process? Maybe you just talk us through, this is how it happens and this is how it happens before the girls get into the team.
Yeah. I think first and foremost, what we need to do is maybe from the under 17, we can recruit the right set of people.
Okay.
Why I'm saying so is, I was in under 17 from 2004 to 2007.
Okay.
Yes, to 2007. And if you watch the team now, both the male and the female team, those that, like half of them from 2004 are still playing, are still very active.
Okay.
And the reason is because they were at the right age.
That they were picked.
Yes. I told somebody one time and he just laughed. He laughed. He said, I'm funny. I said, no, it's not a question of being funny. If I wanted to win trophies at that time, so that maybe I will collect a title of MON, maybe I would have packed over H and go and win the trophy. But because we insisted in doing the right thing, from 2014 till now, these girls are still playing. They are even as they say, Rashida and the rest of them, all of them, they were my products right from that time, and you can see that they are still active now. If they were old as at that time, from that time to this time, you count the years, there's not how they can still be active. And the same thing with the Kelechi Iheanacho set of people. From 2007, I started with them during the Sani Lulu president, former president. And of course, by now they are still active. If you look at Ejeke, that scored the only goal in friendly match some days back. It's part of the under 13 then.
Yeah.
And you can see that it's now that they are on their peak.
On their peak of.
If you pick them wrongly, you just want to assemble a team by all means.
You miss it.
You miss it.
Amazing.
So you can see that after very many years, they are still active.
They're still relevant actually in the game. But let's look at it, Coach, with what would failure to win the 11th title mean for Nigerian women's football? I know you have a lot of positive minds. And what would success represent? Because you've said this is what they're looking at, they're sure of this, but we know that there's going to be strong competition. But winning this, what will it actually represent for the women football? Because also look at the FIFA ranking, we saw the way where the women are placed. So for you, what should be your thoughts or your words to them in terms of winning and also losing, and what it represents for them in terms of our women football?
Yes, I think it's, like I said earlier, they already know what is there.
Okay.
Yes, as a champion, if you want to go back, nobody takes it easy with you. So definitely there is going to be a big cracker for them.
Okay.
But it takes the brave ones to cross a hurdle.
True.
Yeah, so the only thing they will need to do is they need to work hard. They need to be together as a team.
Okay.
Anytime you have a divided team, you don't have a team. Even if you gather Pele, Maradona, and the rest of them, if they are not together, you don't have a team. So they must be a team, both in play, characters, and everything.
Okay.
I think that's the only thing that will push them up as fast as possible. And like I said earlier, it's not going to be easy.
True. Strong fight.
Yes.
All right, absolutely. Coach, which one carries more pressure? Is it the Super Eagles or the Falcons? The Super Eagles chasing a title or the Falcons defending a title? Which one is...
the legacy they have built.
Which comes with more pressure?
Well, to me, I don't think there's any difference.
Okay.
Yes, the only pressure Super Eagles has is maybe challenges of we did not qualify for World Cup.
Okay.
That is it. But AFCON, I don't think we have any pressure.
That's for the women team.
For the men, there's
really?
no any pressure.
Okay.
The women can even have more pressure.
Because of retaining the
Because,
legacy.
yes.
Okay.
You have to struggle to retain what they won just recently.
All right, so pressure, let me just follow up. Pressure, does it help athletes do better when they are under pressure?
Yes, at times it helps you do better when the pressure is positive.
Okay.
Yes, you can only, when everybody is there for you to say, "Hey, let's go, you can do it, you can do it."
As a constructive one.
A constructive one, yes. But maybe if you have people that will keep abusing you, what is this one
What's
playing?
the offering?
What is this? Are you thinking of the, or are you angry with the person that the insult is insulting you, or you want to do your work? You will discover that
It plays psychology.
there will be
There will be
a mix
psychological
up.
impact on the players, which is actually not a fair one. As most times I always tell people, try and reduce the pressure, try and be constructive, let the person feel the love. I know that it's also doing it to make everyone feel in oneness of spirit of the game and also feel the excitement. But coach, if you had to pick one decisive factor that will define Nigeria's success at both tournaments, what will it be? Preparation, coaching decisions, or players' mindset?
I think for me, all are combined.
Okay.
Yes, because no matter the level of preparation, it's 11 people that walk into the field.
Okay.
And it's 11 people that will execute a match.
Okay.
And either win or lose. So from preparation to everywhere, we'll end it in the field of play. So mindset will even be more better to me.
Okay. Which is one thing you've defining all the while, that it's actually teamwork and not just so let's look at this. Super Eagles defense or attack, which needs more work? I know you said they've done their bits, they've done this, but trust me, analysts and lovers of football always come with their critics, come with their own analysis in the field of play and want to. So for you, defense or attack, which needs the major work for us to get this particular thing for Super Eagles?
Personally, like I said earlier, I have my own philosophy. If I want to build a team, I build a team from the defense.
Okay.
Yes. And the reason is, I have the belief that as much as 11 people are in the field, anybody can score goal.
At any point, it's true.
But we must defend our post. So that is my own. I believe it will start by defending. Start from the defense to make sure that we have a solid defense. You have midfielders who can complement the work. Then in up front,
you can keep going.
Absolutely. But from your experience with the youth, which you've led at even the biggest levels, right? What are the biggest threats to Nigeria at AFCON? Is it people say they are not as patriotic? Some persons have said they are not as involved. They are not as passionate as we used to have in the 1990, 1984, 86 and all of that.
I think, if I may answer that question, the 84, 85, 86 up to 90-something, if we look at it critically, they had more passion on the game.
Okay.
And they had less
pressure.
Finances.
True.
Because everybody was playing because I want to play for my country.
And that's very relevant.
Now there are finances. Even after you finish playing, you go to Europe and collect much money. So it's like we are distracted by too much money.
But if there's no money, there isn't really love for
But if there's no money, there won't be.
The game.
Yes.
The game cannot grow.
So I advise that whatever it is, commitment should be there.
Okay.
Then you see, sometimes if you maybe they send you to the farm, you go to the farm, you come back and say, "Mommy or Daddy, I've come back from the farm. Where is my food?" They will be happy to give you the food.
Because you've done the job.
Because you've done the job.
Okay.
So that is it.
Well, obviously they should. It's time we need to put passion back into. Yes, we know it's time for you to make money and also provide for your family and also meet your basic needs.
Yeah.
But passion should not be ruled out. Passion, consistency, and commitment to a particular task that is actually in front of you. One player Nigerians should watch closely in this tournament for you, Coach. What's one player? I know you've learned how to groom players from the grassroots points, give them stardom where necessary. But which of the players in the Super Eagles should Nigerians watch closely in this tournament?
To me, any team that builds a team around 1 or 2 players, they always have problem.
Okay.
So I don't want them to believe on any player.
Okay, so more of a team family work.
I want them to have a good and coordinated team.
Okay.
Because by the time you want to believe on just one particular player, unfortunately, maybe you come out on a bad day and you didn't do well. That means your team is dead. Collapsed. That is why I always have the belief that you must have a good team, not minding who is there. You must have a good team. You must have a good bench. When things are not going right and you turn to your right or left and see your bench and you see some faces, you still have courage. You still know that, yes. Like some years back when I was still in Nasarawa, I had one boy. Anytime, he was always on the bench. Anytime things didn't go well, I'll just say, Baba, go and warm up. And it's like he was always waiting. In fact, I was at a point, I said, a day before match, I said, you are going to start match tomorrow. He said, no, coach, I'm okay with the bench. I'm okay with the bench. So he was so used to the bench that and when I look at him, I have a lot of courage because I know that the moment he goes in, yes,
narrative of things.
Even if we are losing, if he goes in, only God will stop us from winning.
Amazing.
So yes, the boy was always very, very, very skillful.
So that's why passion is also speaking, and the person is ready to give you the results, which as a coach, you've also seen that, and you need to build around players who are standing tall, and we hope to see more players come to bear. But as Nigeria heads into another AFCON season, expectations remain sky high, and so do the stakes as well.
Yeah, for the Super Eagles, it's about turning promise into silverware again. It's been a long time we held that silverware for the Super Eagles. But for the Super Falcons, it's about defending a legacy and making history, continuing history by Behad.
Well, Coach Bada, thank you for joining us for an amazing talk. It's been amazing here having to share your wealth of wisdom and seeing how you've been able to groom a lot of players from the point of no hope, no future, and be able to put them through. And then for your actual wisdom to saying that the Super Eagles are prepared enough in your own line of coaching, and you've seen what they've put together for themselves, and knowing that they won't have any distraction going into AFCON, which is starting off tomorrow, and everyone is excited to see how this plays out. But we look forward to also the legacy staying with the Super Falcons. I'm always talking about Falcons because I'm a woman. I love to see women stand tall when it comes, because we've always done it, and so I just want to see the momentum still being there and keeping high. Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure. We look forward to having more of coming back to talk to us after AFCON and telling us that thing I told you the last time. I hope you see that player.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
We personally have, I would have asked you, do people pay money to get into teams? Because those are some of the allegations that we've heard. But we'll keep it there, like Anette said. When
he comes back.
We'll have more space. Thank you so much for honoring our invite.
Thank you so
very much.
Coach.
It's my pleasure.
Well, that's it. That's our Sport Focus this morning. Stay with us. We'll be right back, and we'll wrap this up on Global Morning. Don't go anywhere.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Good evening and welcome to another exciting edition of Big Talk. Tonight on the program.
As always, it's a pleasure to have you join us here on Global Morning. I am Uyi Alpo.
You know how we do it on Social Post Extra, bringing you all the...
On the desk this evening, we have very topical issues to discuss. And of course...
Welcome to your parliamentary program, The Parliament.
Peaceful and joyful home doesn't happen by chance. It is built on...
Women can rise beyond traditional boundaries to claim their rightful place as...
Numerous committee, about more than 12 committees.
Festival is a program that comes to you once in a week at about this time where we look into issues and discuss them. It gives you the opportunity to...
World news in United
Welcome
Nigeria.
to Entertainment Circle. And trust me, today you're about to...
Well, it's been an amazing outing here, Ubong, and we've had a lot of conversation, which is of interest to Nigerians, looking at the budget issue, which is a lot of fun. I like the fact that Jonathan was able to break it down, gave us his own ideas, and looking at the government's priorities, how that can change the things and give Nigerians hope when it comes to wages, when it comes to proper implementation of good health. Looking at how the health sector got a lower allocation this time around, and then we're able to move our conversation down to sports. And I hope you're going to try me one of these days to get to the field of play. I will play good football.
I don't have any doubt that you're better than me in that aspect, right?
Why are you giving up so easily like that?
No. You choose your battles. This one is all my
Can you hear this young man, isn't it?
It's been amazing.
It's an amazing one.
Having all of this conversation, we looked at the papers in the morning, a lot of headlines, and I think it's quite amazing, just entertaining people and learning while you're doing that.
Well, while we'll learn on the job and also to give you all the basic things, we hope you had an amazing one with us on Global Morning Weekend, and we look forward to more conversation. Thank you so much for staying glued to the screen. Thank you for enjoying the discussion segment with us, and also keeping it up to speed with everything we brought your way. Well, that's it on this particular edition of Global Morning, and we look forward to you watching all of our programming. I remain Aniete Patrick Anuba.
Yeah, thank you so much, Aniete. Bye for now.
It was an amazing ride with Ubong today, and we'll see you on the next edition. Take care.